What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Soul Blaze YouTube channel. It's your boy Soul Blaze back at it again with another video. Recently, we played, as you can read from the title, we played in the largest Pokemon Sword and Shield Draft League tournament that's currently ongoing, and maybe one of the largest entry tournaments of all time. I'm talking, of course, about the Smogon Draft Sword and Shield Cup 2. We played in Sword and Shield Cup 1 as well. That video is on the YouTube channel that I played in last year. I'm not going to spoil the results. If you want to go check out that video, I'm really proud of the thumbnail I did for that video. Go check it out, man. Today, we're going to recap my play at the Sword and Shield Cup 2. If you're excited for today's video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to try and make this not a full hour, but I'm going to do a little fast recap. So, to go over my experience, how I did, my performance, I should say, we first need to start off with the team that I performed with. The team that did it all, man. The team that did it all, man. We're starting up with the first big boy. You already know, Lando T. Now, Lando T is an infamous Pokemon in Draft League. Of course, you know him, you love him. Don't need to talk that much about Landorus. The main thing to note is that is Gen 8. It is Sword and Shield. That means it's kind of in between the gens where HP Ice is a thing and Terra Ice is a thing. So, unless Pokemon actually get real ice coverage, Lando's kind of sitting a little prettier, which is pretty cool. And this is also the gen just before Clear Amulet. Sword and Shield did nerf Intimidate by introducing some Scrappy and Inner Focus, like subsequent properties where it ignores Intimidate, so that is something to look out for. But Landorus Therian, man, it's been doing the same thing for fucking 6.5 gens at this point. Solid rocker, solid knockoffer, 145 attack, can't knock that. You know, decent speed, got the U-turns, got the defog this gen. Pretty solid art all around. You can go for an offensive, you can go Scarf, you can go Sword Stance, you can go Set the Rocks Up Defensive, Rocky Helmet, Leftovers, whatever you want, man. Whatever you want. Whatever you want. Landorus can do it all. Almost do it all. You can't do your taxes, but you can do pretty much anything else. Next up, I chose Necrozma. Why did I choose Necrozma, man? Why would you choose just a Psychic type? A pure Psychic type is not a good typing. You're just weak to knockoff, man. I really like Necrozma in Gen 8. Gen 8 specifically, because it's kind of, I would argue that it's one of Necrozma's best gens, just because it is the gen where it has access to Dragon Dance. Being able to have access to Dragon Dance is huge in my opinion. I really love the Dragon Dance set on this, and then it also in this gen has Media Beam with the Power Herb, baby. So that is a combo that you're going to be seeing. Relying on that Prism Armor, there's also stuff you can do like Weakness Policy. Obviously, Weakness Policy, 2 stages of attack, 2 stages of special attack, not with Meteor Beam, but with stuff like Photon Geyser. You can go mixed with Light Earthquake. You can do it all, man. It's a really offensive powerhouse, especially on the special side. Photon Geyser can also be tweaked to be physical. Really, really strong powerhouse here all over. Also got tons of utility. It has Moonlight Morning Sun to heal itself up. It has the knockoff to remove items. It's another rocker if I need that. It can T-Wave stuff and play passive. You can kind of tweak this. It has a lot of multi-dimensionality that you can do. It's not exactly where Mew is, but at the same time, it's a little bit more offensive, slow Mew, I would say. So it's Necrozma, man. Really cool. And I think Prism Armor, top 10 ability in the game, not gonna lie. That's just a hot take from me, though. Next up, we have Scizor. Scizor, you know him, you love him. He's been around for a while. He's been doing the same thing for a while. You know him, Technician Bullet Punch. Don't need to go into super detail, but you get the stab from Steel. You get the Technician boost because it's under base 60 priority move. Coming off a 130. You can Sword Stance. It has Roost in this gen. And with the same thing with Landorus, it's in between gens where HP Fire and Terra Fire are a thing, right? So there's that aspect that not everything gets fire coverage. So Scizor is going to have a lot more play in terms of not getting one shot or not having to run Akaberry every single week. Though you're most likely going to see some Akaberry as well, just because I'm a big fan of resist berries. But that is Scizor. You get the U-turn, you get the bug offense, you get the steal offense, you get the recovery, and you get the physical sweeping capabilities that might let Landorus run a little bit more defensive. Next up, we have Primarina. Primarina is one of the very few Water Fairy types. Yeah, it's a goated combo. Obviously, we're not going to rely that much on Liquid Voice. Special attacker, special tank. It gets out with Flip Turn. It runs, I'm not going to lie, it runs something similar like this every week. You can run Choice Specs, Choice Scarf, Assault Vest, Life Orb, your mom, your dad. You can run anything on this thing. You can run defense if you want to try and balance it out. You can be the Ultra Spadef wall with the AV Max. You can do something like this. You can try and outspeed certain stuff with Scarf. There's a ton of options here. You also got other moves than these as well, but maybe the occasional energy ball, but this is what it's going to be running with. 9 out of 10 times, it hits like a truck. Perfect fairy offense on this team. I really love it. It can come to every game and absolutely do something, and it's not really stuck because it gets that flip turn. Sarina, we need a spinner on the team. Not going to count. We need a spinner on the team. Don't have a grass type. We can work with that. Sarina is not really the powerhouse, but it does give me a little bit of priority protect. If there's something that's spamming priority really hard and my team really can't handle it, we're talking maybe Ice Shard, for example. This is weak to Ice, so bad example, but if there's something, you'll see down the line here why having maybe some protection for priority is really good. That's the option, man. But this is the Rapid Spinner. This is the AV or Heavy Duty Boots or protective pads if there's something like Garchomp Rough Skin, Ferrothorn Iron Barbs, Rocky Helmets, stuff like that. We can pretty much use multi-hit moves like Triple Axle a lot without having to worry about chip damage. And we can also Rapid Spin freely without having to die in the process, which is pretty huge. There is a note here. Synthesis heals by a weather-dependent amount, as you can see later down the line. It is a little anti-synergetic. Same with the Moonlight here. So I'm not going to sit here and say the team is perfect because it does have some anti-synergy. But for what I need it to do, this performs the role that it needs to. It's not going to come here Choice Band, Sword Stance, all that stuff. It's going to be Rapid Spin. It's going to be the utility that I need. It's going to be the occasional U-turn to get out. It's going to be the occasional knockoff item removal, high jump kick to get rid of tanky steel type, for example, stuff like that. T-Tar, another rocker, so that alleviates these two from their rocks position, because obviously you don't want to spend 18 points on something for it only to click rocks and die. So we have T-Tar. Rocks is going to come on it a lot. Pause. This is before it gets knockoff, but it gets beautiful moves like Dragon Tail, Thunder Wave, Roar. It gets beautiful support, physical like that are often associated with physical tanks. Beautiful, beautiful moves. And you can't knock the attack stat. 134, great offensive stabs that I can utilize. It lost Pursuit this gen, so it's not a Pursuiter. But, you know, he's still a grinder. He's still out there getting the big cash. And it also gets a lot of special coverage as well. So, you're telling me I need to get rid of a Ferrothorn? Boom, there's Fire Blast. So there you go. But obviously, the thing I drafted it for is the Sandstream. It doesn't really help my team right now. The only thing is that two of my top mons don't take the chip damage, but I also have two other members that get their healing reduced. So it kind of goes even in that respect. And then we have maybe like the dark horse of the show. I've always been wanting to use this mon. I did draft it once when Gen 8 was meta, I think. But this is the Sandsweeper. This is to make up for the lack of speed on the team. You can see not a single mon like above 100 here. So this does have Rock Polish. This can run Scarf. This does have Autotomize, Dragon Dance, can run Scarf. This is Bullet Punch, can run Agility. So it's not like I don't have speed. This can Rapid Spin with the speed from this gen as well. But this is like more the immediate speed because not a single mon has a high base speed. So I want to threaten things that are in the 120s, 130s, even 110s. And last mon was Espeon. That's doubling the Psychic type with Necrozma. But the reason I picked it was for this Magic Mouse right here. It's because I want to make sure that this is not just the only spinner and that's my only way of dealing with hazards. As you can see, I have no grounded poison type, so I want to make sure to threaten those a little bit harder. I also really needed the speed tier of 110, as we talked about, to couple with the Draco's ult. And yeah, maybe you can set up screens for Necrozma to go harder with a weakness policy setup set. There's a lot of setup on my team in general. Or maybe it lets Draco's ult get that second Bolt Beak off that kills a target that I need to. The essential thing here was that I wanted to try a draft where it's a little bit more on the balanced side. It does have a weather aspect, but I think weather can work really well on 8-man teams just because you want to look for mons that kind of could potentially come to every matchup, because 6 of them have to come, so you don't really have that many options. So I wanted to kind of be like, with a 2-man Sandcore, you can kind of be like, okay, I can leave both my Sandcore members behind and have no sand whatsoever and play like that. Or I can contest Weather Wars, or I can just play my sand game if they have low counters for it. And there you go. So that's the team that I drafted. This is the 8-man. It's probably one of the better 8-man teams that I have drafted, honestly. I can see there being a case for, like, there's at least something each mon can do every game. They're not completely useless, even though they might have bad matchups and stuff, but yeah, that's the team. Let's go into the first game that I played versus Old Lemons. Yeah, let's start it off. So I'm gonna just let turn 1 play here. I go for a Meteor Beam because on specially defensive Torkoal, this is a 93% chance to kill. So as you can see from the matchup, they have Sun, I have Sand. So it's gonna be a Weather War. But I'm just like, he led Torkoal into Necrozma. Necrozma led kind of pretty good into everything because nothing can one-shot it. Like, the worst thing that could have happened was maybe Heatran yawns me or something, or Choice Scarf's Eruption me. Like, that's like the main thing I'm worried about here. So I just felt like that was pretty safe. Gets the big payoff right away. We kill the target, and Tapu Lele comes in. Obviously, it's faster than me. I want you guys to just know that was Prism Armor is in play here. It wouldn't have killed, but as you can see, it saves me a lot of valuable HP. I hit him back with Expanding Force. I'm bringing, of course, my thought is if I can get rid of Lele and terrain is up. Look at Expanding Force into this team. Weak. even Heatran, like, Expanding Force into, like, yeah, it does a lot of damage, is my point. Anyway, so from this, I'm just hard switching into T-Tar. There's no way you click Focus Blast against a Necrozma. That's just not a human play. So I'm just basically checking if this is choiced, because this is 90% of the time this is a choice bot, Specs or Scarf, and I didn't get Specs damage based on what I saw. So I'm inclined to believe this is Scarf, so I'm just checking if it's Scarf, basically, by switching into T-Tar, and I set up my Sand as well, get up my rocks for free. I'm willing to let T-Tar die to a Focus Blast there, just to check if it's Scarf, because it's really valuable down the line for my other members. So that's definitely what I'm doing. Yeah, so this is kind of a huge turn. I set up rocks, he goes Nidoking, I go Lando, and he predicts me going Lando with a Nice Beam and claims a kill. So my Meteor Beam has kind of been for nothing. And this is what I'm talking about with drafting 18 pointers just to throw them into the fire, or the ice, I should say. Be a little careful about how you play your 18 pointers, man. Because in a draft, there's the aspect of, oh, I spend a lot of points for a mon, it has to perform, versus finding the low tier gems that you might be on the lookout for. So I'm just saying here, I play my Landorus horrible here, but at the same time, it's kind of a good play on them to Ice Beam and a bad play on me to go Landorus. I think low key might even be worth letting T-Tar go, or maybe going into something like, I don't know, Necrozma. I don't know, like, what is Necrozma doing at this point? Like, it's not outspeeding any other targets, even though he can hit super effectively. So I thought it was just something about my mind that was like, oh, I can just go Lando. There's no Ice Beams. Ice Beams, obviously. I go Espeon. This is kind of the virtue of having two Psychic types in this matchup, just because I hit a lot for super effective. Heatran is like the biggest roadblock left here. I go Prim on a Magma Storm. I take sand damage, I take magma storm damage, and it protects. So this is a really annoying set, looking to chip me down with sand, with my own sand and magma storm, and yeah, just be annoying. Sacks the Lele, no problem. I take another round of sandstorm, and Havlucha comes in and looks for game. Sets up the substitute. I do not have the agency to switch here because I will lose the game. So I just stay in and try to attack this thing. I need this this thing to calm down. I need to set up the sand so I can outspeed with Draco's ult, because that is basically the only thing I can do at this point. Even then, even if I don't outspeed with Draco's ult, by the way, because he sets up a sub first. He's +2, I'm +2, and there's a lot higher base speed. But Draco's ult is healthy, and once I get past the Havlucha, this can actually threaten a lot of things in the back. Again, it's arguable if Necrozma should have been here, but he has no attack boost, so I know I can live barring a crit. Dragon Claw, get this out of here. The win condition is gone, it's just the remaining members. Obviously clicks protect, as he should. Goes Venusaur, predicts either an EQ or a Bolt Beak, which gets me on that play. It's kind of a 50-50 between the Dragon Claw and the Steel type and the EQ Electric on the Venusaur and the Nidoking. Go Necrozma. I try and go for a Moonlight just to try and salvage the Mon at this point. It's kind of... the chip damage I'm taking is kind of racking up, and eventually, you'll see here, I cut my losses, I kill the Heatran. It's 1-on-1. I hope this is Choice Scarf, and I just know that if it's Scarf, it goes before and it doesn't kill. And if it's Life Orb, it doesn't go before Espeon and I get the kill. And that is the game. That is the game. My first game. Second game, very, very interesting. I kind of get my eyes opened wide by my opponent here. There's a Mon on this screen right here. That is insane, and I did not prep enough for it. And you will see. You will see. Start off with Prem. Go for Moonblast. Do a lot of damage as the yawn comes through. I just flip turn so I don't fall asleep. Kartana comes out for the first time. I am naturally faster, so I try and chip it down by going for a Shadow Ball. I live on my Sash. Switches out. I get another Shadow Ball. A little crit there. Nice. Very nice. I go into this, and I just attack so he can't go Kartana for free. Try and look for some Spadef drops. And then here's the thing. Here's the thing. This turn right here is very crucial. Look right here. I Moonblast, Baton Pass into Kartana. But I know one thing about Baton Pass in this tournament. It's not allowed. Baton Pass is not allowed. So essentially, Kartana gets a super, super good position against this Primarina here. My team doesn't, believe it or not, despite the Intimidate on my Landorus, it's a flying type that does not resist grass. So, you know, it's not looking pretty. I don't have a fire type on the team, and my special attackers are kind of really threatened by this thing's knockoff, or just straight up after a Swords Dance, I just get outcode. So this position is pretty nice. I let them know about the rule set. The battle is over at this point because they broke a rule, and you know, I get the win from just that. But I am totally willing to just play this out because I have nothing to lose by playing it out. I was already coming in here prepping for this match to play it out, so we're playing it out. And it turns out by playing it out, I'll put on Hyperfast here. Synthesis, knockoff does 40, and that's Kartana for now. But you see, it has this really good defensive synergy between Slowbro, Sylveon, Wish, Regen, Synthesis on the Kartana. And eventually, Kartana just gets to come in, gain a kill, Beast Boost, do a lot of damage, live, get a kill, Beast Boost. Like, the whole point of this is that my team cannot get rid of this Kartana right now. My team, although I did know it was coming and I did bring something for it, like, I think I have like Weather Ball, something Weather Ball Sunny Day or something like that here. the fact that this just gets to come in and has the synthesis and I can't kill it. It just gets to claim things for free. Go Cinderace, gets the wish back. U-turns on my shit, gets Kartana back in on free synthesis because I have to swap or like this dies the Leaf Blade. So it comes in time after time again. Sometimes it gets a Beast Boost, sometimes it does not, and it just proceeds. I finally kill it. Look here, I finally kill it. Shadow Ball, the 78. That was much harder to deal with than I imagined. You can't see because of the cam. Hold on. Kartana was much harder to deal with than I originally anticipated, than I thought. So Kartana is a beast. Some say it's the best Ultra Beast. I think it's up in the air. I think maybe Celesteal is a bit better, but the point is, Kartana has an amazing matchup because I did not prep well for it. And sometimes that happens, man. Sometimes that happens. So I kind of got put on blast this game. Get a crit there, pretty nice. But at the end of the day, man, something has to fall asleep. And I just don't have enough breakthrough power. But I do get the win because of the rule break. And if there's any Mon that should get a free baton pass against this composition, it's definitely Kartana. Because that just ruins me straight up. So I had some takeaways from this battle, although we got gifted the win by the rule gods. But you know, at the end of the day, I should have lost that battle, and it is what it is. Next up, we play Tempest. Does that sound right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think we play Tempest here. There was, I think I got gifted a forfeit win on one of the pool battles. Because now we're at round 3. Because I also got gifted a forfeit win on round 2 because the opponent couldn't play. So that already advances us a lot. So I'm out here and I'm like scared to play now because the people we're gonna be facing are really good. the further you get, like not necessarily the better players you're gonna play, but you're gonna play comps that beat other comps more often than not. Like the drafts are certainly going to get better, and you're also are going to just face people who have a great tournament, like that can get in your head just by playing. So we're on round 3 Tempest right now, and yeah, this battle was definitely, it was Ferrothorn, man. Ferrothorn was it. I go for Meteor Beam here. I kind of loosen out the cannon. I know Parting Shot was going to come, but I know it brings me back to neutral. Miss Heat Wave doesn't really do all that much. Sets up and wants to go for the rocks. I get greedy and I really want this out of the way. And here we got the Protective Pads tech coming in for the Iron Barbs. Knocks it off, so it's not a tech anymore. But then, you know, the thought was good. The thought was there. I go into Necrozma and Moonblast. I Photon Geyser for a little bit of chip because I think I calculated that it was physically defensive. I set up a sub on the Wish, and this allows me to effectively get like first Photon Geyser for 51%. And I Photon Geyser again because I figure either I kill this or he goes out into Silvally and it's immune. Intimidate it. Shows me Rest, so it has recovery, which makes it a little bit more annoying to deal with. But it is the first turn. I pretty much get a free Primarina, even though it gets a Sleep Talk multi-attack. I have a nerve on this. There was something in the matchup that I did not want to give Sand for. Get the Toxic on the Swamp. Huge, fat Skull Burn there. Absolutely huge Skull Burn. T-Tar out of commission, but I can set up rocks though. You see it. It basically only core change here. And I die to the burn. Try to low kick the incoming Ferrothorn on a predict. Not happening. I get burned in the process. It is what it is. We triple axle. We missed after the first one. We effectively just do 7%ers. Serena's useless outside of spin. Drop to Gengar behind the sub. It's looking dire right now. It's looking dire. Get a slow flip though into the Lando. And goes Ferrothorn on my Lando as I EQ, because this is not Levitate Gengar. EQ twice for the kill, and look now. Ferrothorn is gone. That's a huge wall for Landorus gone. If you look at this team, there's not a lot that wants to effectively, with this being toxic in parentheses, there's not a lot on this team, with Clefable being 36%, that wants to switch into a 145 stab EQ. Swampert comes in, obviously not going to stay in here. I have to give him the flip turn. There's not really much I can do about that. I go Prim, praying it's asleep and doesn't get anything. Comes to fruition, wakes up, parting shots, that's okay. I get the flip turn predict on the wake up, no problem at all. And here comes the answers. Like, this is kind of like the Kartana last game. The EQ switches are getting fewer and fewer. So as the monster are dwindling down, as the game progresses, the EQs become better and better. Guess the Skull Burn, no biggie. We get a little citrus. The Toxic Swampert is known for having no recovery outside of lefties or committing to rest. So we show off the Sunny Day Weather Ball that was for the Ferrothorn. We get a Psych again. That was actually a slow Cinderace. Actually not. It was actually more of a bulky Cinderace. Get the Intim. I reveal here that I'm Scarf, which is the perfect time to reveal it. Unfortunately, it gets the Cursed Body, so I'm locked into Struggle because I can't do it again. Have to go this. I just want to sack it. This is Boots, obviously. If it wasn't Boots, that would be huge. But now, I U-turn because I feel like if he goes Swampert, I just U-turn into Prim and get a lot of damage. He stays in, I kill, and then I also go Prim for the Swampert, so that's just a win-win for me. And at this point, there's nothing to do with the fact that I have the Scarf EQ. So once I got past the Ferrothorn, and it almost was 2 hit KO by EQs by itself, so Landorus put in overtime this game. So that's kind of the way that you want to position and play your 18 pointers, like your top stars. Like your Landorus is not 18 points in this draft, I believe. I think it's like 17, 16, I don't remember. But essentially, if you plan a draft around something, you want to make sure it performs, and this was one of the games where I really felt like I got to show some battle prowess, that I got to show, like, because the prep wasn't anything special. It's Scarf Lando, like, it's like inventing the wheel. I'm not the first to think of Scarf Lando, but I'm happy that I showed that I can play with it. So that game was really good for me. Next up, this battle is... I don't even have words. Nothing can describe this battle. This is a battle. If anything in this video, if you made it this far, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. But this is the game that I feel like people are going to watch this video for. This is a historic Pokemon Draft League game, man. I won't spoil. Let's just get straight into it, man. The craziness of this battle cannot be understated. This is top 16 right here. We're in top 16 territory right now. Let's get into it. Lead T-Tar against Lantern. Scald, no burn. Set up rocks. Kind of not a fair trade for me because I really need T-Tar healthy. But I say F that, man. I don't need T-Tar healthy. Sets up rocks, sets up sands. That's T-Tar. That's all I needed to do. EQ away the Shuckaberry. Now let me play one more turn. Volt switches on the Prim switch. Bro's in my head! Bro's in my head! As soon as we get for top 16, bro's in my head, man. Switches to Prim and just volts on me. That's a great play. You have nothing to lose there. Like, why would I go Lando on the risk of Scald Burn? No shot I go Lando. Great play. Lantern. Peak Lantern performance right here. Already in my head after 3 turns, I'm looking the defeat straight in the eyes. It's 1 loss and you're out. Flip into Necrozma. Scald, no burn. Like 4th Scald of the game, no burn. Feel bad. I really do. I atomize to get faster than this. And listen. You see the Dark Pulse. Okay, let me play. It kills. But in my defense, it only kills if it's Life Orb or Specs. It's Life Orb. It could have easily not been Life Orb or Specs. I felt like that was a good risk to take. I know I don't get a Fairy move on Necrozma. That's one of the Necrozma's downsides. Because Dazzling Gleam, it would have been a lot better. Don't get that, unfortunately. Don't want to risk Focus Blast, so we just... we had so I packed Dragon Pulse because of that. And the reason I ran setup like this was because Photon Geyser ignores abilities, which means if I set up and use Photon Geyser on Clefable, it ignores the Unaware, which is very, very crucial in the damage. Yeah, so I believe I was Photon Geyser, Dragon Pulse. I believe it was Weakness Policy because I wanted to live and proc the stuff. Did not happen, unfortunately. Goes Lantern on the Bullet Punch. Like, I have to Bullet Punch there. It's such a... it's just like, I'm only human, man. I have to Bullet Punch that. There's no way I can look that play in the eyes and click U-turn. I was considering U-turn, but there's no way I can actually bring myself to click it in that situation because I'm already behind. I need kills. I'm desperate. But at least I get a little bit of chip on this Lantern. It doesn't really get recover like that. First Skullburn, eventually it's going to come. I feel like that's what they need. This Power Whip miss does not matter. They switch correctly. It's resisted, does no damage, but I do miss it. Anyhow, hits the Hurricane. I first calced this Hurricane with no special attack, and I was like, I'm living. No, I'm not living that ever if it hits. Yeah, Sandstream comes out. Superpower. Chopple! Minus defense. Avalanche! T-Tart, baby, gets rid of the Torty with an avalanche of all things. You would think Stone Edge, wouldn't you? You would think Stone Edge. No, we don't risk that here. Avalanche only kills there because he gets the minus defense drop from Superpower. And that's what the Chopper was for. Beautiful comeback. That's how you start a comeback. That's how you start a comeback. In League of Legends, you need information. In Pokemon Showdown, you need guts and balls. That's what you need. You need courage to do what no one else has done before. Leaf Blade finishes me off. No issue whatsoever. I get the Sand Chip, all good. Gets the Citrus on the Iron Head. I reveal here that I'm Scarf Scizor. Close combats for negative defenses. Switches out to remove them and resist the incoming Iron Head. They know I'm Scarf as well. Gets the Scald. No flinches so far. Gets the Scald. If I get burned here, I die. I lose Scizor straight up, and I can tell you, 2 versus 5, it's not going to go. It's not going to go. But Scizor? No. Scizor doesn't get burned. Scizor Iron Heads and kills the Lantern the following turn. Iron Heads on the Babiri Clefable and gets a flinch. Tech Frokies is freaking out. I am kind of freaking out as well. Because that Iron Head flinch is kind of huge because it allows me to now go for Iron Head again. Which is going to be huge. You'll see right here. It's not a kill. But it's a second flinch. Scizor dodges the Skullburn. Gets 2 flinches against Clefable. 2! But it doesn't end there. I'm now faster. I can kill Clefable. Hydreigon is at 20%. I'm Scarf. Iron Head kills that. It's Reveal Life Orb. I'm faster. So Slowking has to come in. Tank the hit. And, you know, kill in return. It's a simple task. Live the Iron Head, kill in return. Scizor ain't done on the court. Scizor ain't done today. Scizor ain't done today! 40! Flinch. It did 40. He's at 42. I get the high roll! Flinch in the high roll! I get another high roll! And Scizor puts on a generational performance. Generational performance. It gets 2 flinches versus Clefable. It gets the high roll to kill the Slowking. It gets the high roll to kill Virizion. My Scizor is going crazy this game. Clutched me up. And that's how we're entering top 8. That, without a doubt, is one of the craziest Pokemon battles I've ever played. And Scizor will go down in history. Iron Head will go down in history. This is the reason why Covert Cloak exists. Remember this. If you played before the Covert Cloak days, this could happen to you. This could be you. So I'm sorry, Tech Focus, if you're watching this, man. This was a piece of Pokemon history, to put it simply. That was top 16. We're now in top 8. Was it deserved? Was it not? Was there some great plays there? Did I get outplayed completely the first 3 turns? Yes, yes, and absolutely yes. I didn't do all bad. I didn't do all good. None of us deserved to witness that. That was greater than us both. But going into top 8, we're playing Gengar Mask. And this team, I can see why it made it here. This team is insane, in my opinion. First of all, it's really hard for me to justify going Sand here. Just because there's a Dracovish. And you can say, well, Dracovish speed ties the Draco's ult, if I'm correct. Or does it outspeed by 10? Let's check it right now. I want to make sure I'm factually correct. I don't know. I'm not a know-it-all. Dracovish, show me your speed. 75. Yeah, they speed tie. And you can be like, well, both can speed tie and run Scarf. The one who hits first kills, right? Yeah. But that... I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a Volt Absorber there. There's a Ground type there. Boltbeak ain't looking the greatest. And if you're looking at my team, there's no Water Resist. So, in my head, I would rather force this to run Sandrush over Strongjaw and just not have to risk my entire performance on a 50-50 that is not even a 50-50 because he can just switch into one of his plethora of answers and lock me in and fuck me up. That was the justification. Lo and behold, there's an Aegislash here. There's a Zeraora here. And we're playing the game. The way I look at this battle is I intimidate this fucking Lando up right here. You can see it. I'm down an attack stat. I'm not going to do as much damage. I'm not going to really... Like, how am I going to... Swords Dance, Rock Polish, Sweep when he can just switch in and out of Intimidate? How am I going to get this done? It's obviously Levitate, Wheezing. How am I going to get this done? So, the way that I designed this Landorus was special. I went special to not mind the Intimidate because I knew Crook would stand opposed to this Lando a lot. So I designed it with like a Calm Mind perspective, and there's another thing I put on it. Adrenaline Orb. I tried to cook. I put Adrenaline Orb. I figured I can get the speed up. I can remove my item slot so knockoff is weaker. And I can try and just wall break / go for game. Go as far as I can. I just need to maybe hit a Focus Blast or 2. I have Psychic for the Wheezing. I have EQ. No, I have Earth Power. Sorry, I have Earth Power. With Calm Mind, maybe I get a Calm Mind up. Maybe I can go to town on 1 Calm Mind, 1 Speed Boost. I have to just try and go for game. Lo and behold, not that simple. Because there's a freaking whole ass Mew here. With that at +1 takes 39%. 39. Like, this is a 3-hit KO, my guy. And even with a Spadef boost, Ice Beam is doing 70%. Mew's recovery. I blew my... Okay, I'm not going to say that on YouTube, but... I blew my chance to win the game. I blew it all, man. Pause. I blew my chance of winning this game because I threw my Landorus in the water. I thought I was cooking, and theoretically you can kind of see there. But if you look at my team, if you look at any team, if you have an Intimidate Mon that doesn't really get blocked by a lot of Scrappy, a lot of Inner Focus, if you have reliable Intimidate, and you build your Mon specially defensive, either with Assault Vest or max HP, max Spadef with recovery, your opponent is gonna have a really hard time breaking through. And that is what happens in this game. I'm uphill right from the start. I need a miracle. Scizor, help me out here. I need your Iron Heads, bro. And it doesn't help that Mew is one of those mons that really exposes my draft. Because I remember I talked about, this is before the Terra Ice and the Terra Fires. This is after the HP Ices and the HP Fires. But Mew, man, Mew gets those moves. It gets the Ice Beam, the Blizzard. It gets the Flamethrower, the Heat Wave, the Overheat. It gets it all, man. So my whole plan of drafting quad weak mons, where there's less of what they're quad weak to, HP fighting, Terra fighting for T-Tar as well, right? Mew has it all, man. Mew has it all. He can just sit there and hit me for quad. So already on the paper, this Mew just has a fantastic matchup because you can just build Spadef because you have the Intimidate. It's so genius, man. It's simple, but it's genius and it works. And it's got me on the back foot right off the start. So if you want to learn something about draft and how to counter drafts, take a look at this game and look at how my opponent builds against me, because he does a hell of a good job. I have nothing but compliments to my opponent here. Does a fantastic job of shutting this down. I do get a crit. That does end up mattering. I did here. Obviously switches into the Intimidate, wants to preserve the Mew, gets the Intimidate here. This, however, was, I believe, a very huge turning point, because I don't have a +1 special attack anymore. But I need, no matter if Landor's dies next turn or what happens, I need damage on this Crocodile. And a neutral Focus Blast is gonna do well above, like, I think above, like, around 50, like, some, like, 60% or something. No, 50? Maybe 50? Maybe it's really, maybe if it's, like, Assault Vest, maybe, like, 35? I need chip damage on this. It doesn't get recovery. I need chip damage. I need chip damage, and I don't get chip damage. So everything is going wrong with this Landorus at the peak. When I'm at top 8, I'm right there, man. But I can't get anything started. Espeon is obvious. I do try and get a Shadow Ball off here because I know I don't live 2 Shadow Sneaks. It goes Blade Form and shows me Shadow Ball. It doesn't end up mattering because it has Shadow Sneak as well. I thought it didn't at that point since it was Shadow Ball. Has the Colbur but dies. And this Necrozma, now that Crook has not taken chip, is going to have a hard time because the whole idea, I can show you in the team builder, the whole idea of this game was to get Crook into the range of this stuff right here, man. It doesn't get any super effective special moves to hit Crook. So that's why I ran a physical one, although Intimidate was going to be a factor with Weakness Policy if it chooses to knock off me, which is highly unlikely. But anyway, I can actually hit Crook a little bit with some chip damage is actually possible. But as things stand right now with a full HP Crook, it's going to be hard. And my win cons are looking dire. So what do I do? I try and make it work. I try and pivot around. I try and find a way in. I try and squeeze it. And I know Mew gets a roost here, and it's sad to watch, but slowly but surely, you can see my options are turning away. I try and predict Weezing Galar coming in. Goes for the EQ, knows I'm Weakness Policy, probably watched my previous games and knows the game state, and probably one of the only ways to lose is to proc that at this point in the game. Play smart around my remaining options and slowly, like, has a chokehold on my options. Blaze Kick goes through Waka and Plasma Fist one-shots, and we are out of the tournament with the top 8 finish. And that's the run. I am kind of happy with how I performed this game. I'm not gonna, well, this game as well. I tried, man, I tried. But this tournament run, I was kind of satisfied with how I played. Let me know if you guys have any comments to the run down below. I would love to hear your guys' input, especially around that Scizor, man. That was crazy to witness and be a part of Pokemon League, Draft League history, because those odds had to be astronomical, man. Although I do believe I had good chances in the game, even if I don't get as lucky. But I'm happy to have been made it in the top 8 finish. It is one of my better performances in a tournament, especially in a long while. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the little throwback to Sword and Shield. I love playing in Sword and Shield. It's one of my better formats. If I'm not gonna be, like, to be honest, I feel like I can draft better because I know I feel like I have a better grasp of like what changed in Gen 8 and stuff like that because I was around for the whole generation. I was never around for the whole of Gen 7 and we're still playing in Gen 9. So, yeah. But this has been your boy Soulblaze, and as always, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace!